This is it. This is the NASCAR 1-Up Retro Cup Series final race of the regular season, round number 30. And it's at sunny Phoenix Raceway in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm alongside Duke Anczak for today's race. And this is it. This is the one everyone's been looking forward to. This is the pressure-packed weekend of some drivers making the playoffs, other drivers won't. And with the playoff contenders all starting real close to each other, what's got to be going through their minds as they head into the biggest race of their careers?
Well, it's just one of those situations where you've got everybody who has worked so hard during the whole season. It all comes down to one race and how you do in this one race. There's so much pressure. There's so much on the line for this race for just a few of those guys, and it is going to be intense because we've seen this season so many crazy things happen, and there are a lot of times you get in a wreck that you just had no control over, and everybody starts piling in and the track is blocked, and then there's nowhere to go and your chances at the championship are over. So I'm going to be looking for a lot of careful driving and a lot of aggressive driving out of these guys that are on the line. It's going to be really, really fun to watch.
In 14th position on the playoff cut line, Jeffery Finguy. He's 28 points outside of the playoffs. He needs a big race today in order to advance his way into the series playoffs. He's had a few accidents in the last two races that have derailed his playoff hopes, but he's starting on pole today. We can give you the full starting lineup with Jeffery Finguy on pole position, Christian Vargas starting second. Chris Maley will lock himself into the playoffs with a finish in the top 30, so he will be safe, barring any disasters. The cut line right now is between Stephen Gale in the 52, starting in 10th position, and Nick Ortiz 4 points behind him in the 91. He starts 11th. Those two are going to be the focus of today's race because they are going to be fighting for that final playoff spot. And it's going to be interesting to see which of those two cars can get the edge. Who do you think's going to stand out today? Because we've seen great performances from both these two. Ortiz has had some phenomenal runs this season. Stephen Gale has 2 wins to his name. It'd be a real shame if either one of them missed the cut.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Ortiz has a really good shot. He's been on fire lately. But Stephen Gale, he's really able to pull through a lot of the times. Obviously he's got some wins, so it's going to be really tough for both of them to manage this race. Those two are some that I look to be a lot more aggressive in this race towards the end. Towards the beginning, I think they're going to want to try to stay out of trouble, not get any crashes, but towards the end they're going to have to really push because that's when they're going to start to see how it all plays out.
And with that being said, the field is lined up for this final regular season race, and we're ready to bring it to you. So we'll take you to the green flag as soon as the cars are lined up and ready to roll. This is 1-Up Retro Cup Racing from Phoenix. The pace car on pit road, Jeffery Finguy leads this field of 42 cars in the most pressure-packed race this series has seen in quite some time. Coming into turn 3, this is going to be the final chance for Jeffery Finguy and Nick Ortiz to break into the playoffs, and the final chance for Stephen Gale and Justin Hutchinson to hold on to their spots as the field rolls through 3 and 4, entering the Geico restart zone. The green flag is underway, the race is green, and we welcome Kevin Carter to the 1-Up Retro Cup Series playoffs. He has locked his spot.
Wow, that was really, really tough for Kevin Carter right there. Took the green flag and locked it in. But, he is one of the guys in this race that has to worry the least as we see they go 3, almost 4 wide.
Ben McDonald made a great pass for position there. He's 3 and 4 wide. We've got trouble in the back already. On lap 1, it was Blair in the 69, and she gets hit by Martinez in the 77. Casey Bender gets a piece of it as well. And Bobo Jones with some damage to his car. He was plus 35 above the cut line. This could impact him a little bit as Martinez takes the caution flag on lap number 1. Keon Daly is out of this race already on lap 1. He and Casey Bender will be done for the day on just lap 2. This is not the start that either of them wanted for sure.
Oh, absolutely not. That's a really frustrating way to start any race. But that's how it is sometimes, and that's what you got to avoid. A lot of these folks really working their way through the pack, and it just, the restarts are so crazy at this place. So it happens, and it's unfortunate for those guys, but that's how it is.
With Keon Daly now out of the race, Casey Bender will retire as well. So you see Keon Daly right behind the 75 and just ahead of the 16 Portland. They're 4 wide just ahead of him, and that's where this starts, with Blair getting tagged by Fitzwater into 59, and she just has nowhere to go. Keon Daly gets a piece. Casey Bender just drills the side of the 69, and
my gosh,
it's just a chain reaction and nowhere for these guys to go.
Yeah, you know, and it's such a wide racetrack, and that's just the thinnest part of it. You know, they started wrecking, and everybody's condensed because of the restart. There's just nowhere for anybody to go at that point. You know, there's just too many cars and not enough space.
With Blair in the 69 having some damage repairs done as the field exits pit road, Jeffery Finguy still holds the lead of this race ahead of Christian Vargas. Ben McDonald has moved up into third place after starting 5th, so he runs 3rd with the 3 and 4th place. J.D. Martin in 5th, with Chris Maley dropping all the way back to 6th at the start. Not a good start for the driver of the 44, but as long as he finishes up there, he should comfortably lock himself into the playoffs. And Stephen Gale has actually moved himself up into 9th place ahead of Nick Ortiz in the 91. So Gale currently holds the edge as far as the final playoff battle. But as you can see, we still have 74 laps to go, and anything can still happen.
Yeah, as you saw right there, the pace car was taking the shortcut through that part. That's going to be a big part of this race, that area down there below the yellow line. It's not out of bounds here at Phoenix, and there's a lot of pavement to use down there. So that's one of the reasons why it gets so crazy, because you have all these cars fanning out in an area where there's a lot of racetrack to use, and then they go into a turn, and then it all tightens up coming out of here, coming out of turn 2. And then there's just nowhere for them to go. So we're going to have to watch that. This restart should be a little bit less crazy because it's single file, so not everybody's side by side to start this thing. But, you know, it's one of those things you got to watch out for as a driver, especially with these people on the bubble. You know, you got to make sure that you're out of everybody's way by the time you get out of turn 2.
With Stephen Gale running in 9th and Nick Ortiz running in 12th, the gap is now 8 points between Gale and Ortiz. Gale currently holds the number 12 spot in the championship. As the lights go out on the pace car, we will go green next time by. But as things stand right now, Stephen Gale is ahead by 8 points. If they were to tie, the tiebreaker would go based on number of wins, so Stephen Gale would hold that tiebreaker. So Nick Ortiz has to beat Stephen Gale by a minimum of 5 spots or more, or he has to win the race and beat Gale by 2 or more spots if he wants to make the playoffs. Be an interesting storyline to follow through the entire 78 laps of this race, as the pace car is going to pull on pit road, and we're going to get ready to restart this thing.
Yeah, this is going to be really entertaining to watch those two guys battle for points to get into the playoffs, to have a shot to win this championship. And, you know, this is something that's so meaningful for all these drivers. They put blood, sweat, and tears into this whole season, and what a shame it would be to not be able to have a chance in the final races to fight for a championship.
Don't discount Jeffery Finguy either. He's currently leading this race, and with an issue for the 91 or the 52, that could bump Jeffery Finguy into the conversation. He crashed out of the last few races as the field takes the green flag on lap number 6. Jeffery Finguy's had a few crashes lately, and that's put him on the outside looking in, but he's got a very good car here today, and he's showing it, pulling out to a very handy lead over Christian Vargas in the 08.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see those guys in the back fanning out a little bit, even though they started single file. It's not quite as crazy as it was last time. It looks like everybody's going to get through. But, you know, we're going to get some racing here now into this race, and we're going to see this track is so tough, and it's so much fun to watch these guys wheel around it. So we'll see. There they go under that line, crossing past, taking the shortcut.
With Stephen Gale now moving up to 8th place and Nick Ortiz falling back to 14th, that gap's now 11 points between these two cars. So Ortiz really needs to get a move on here if he wants to catch Stephen Gale and pass him. Remember, he needs to beat Gale by 5 spots or more if he wants to lock up a playoff spot. But right now he's on the back foot a little bit as he's getting passed by King in the 18, and he's got a challenge from Hutchinson in the 28, who is by no means safe, who is only 9 points above the cut line going in.
Yeah, you know, we're really lucky that the guys we're trying to watch have such bright, colorful cars. They stand out so well from the rest of the field. But yeah, definitely for the 91 of Ortiz, he wants to have the bright blue car, the 52, in his mirror, not in his windshield.
And he's making a move on King now. That is the battle for 11. And with Gale now in 8th, that shrinks the gap down to about 9 points. So hopefully Ortiz can get a move on here. And don't count out Justin Hutchinson either. He's had 2 wins already this season. He's got a very fast car under him. He started back in 18th, but he's making moves up through the field. He is now running in 13th. With Nick Ortiz making the move. And remember, if Ortiz could maybe, on the pit stop cycle, which we know is coming, we've got 1 pit stop cycle in this race, if he could stay out and lead a lap, he could get a bonus point for doing that. Stephen Gale could also do the same thing. Either of them could get a bonus point by leading a lap, or by setting the fastest lap of this race. Either one of those, and you get a bonus point. So look for them to try something a little bit different if they know they can't win this race.
Yeah, for sure. You know, a lot of the time in these series, you get somebody fighting to get that fastest lap bonus point, but I think that if anybody is far enough behind that they need that bonus point, as we saw the 52 get way in the light gray out of that corner, he's got to keep a handle on it. But you know, usually they're that far behind. I think in this case on a bubble battle, that's not going to make a lot of difference. It's really going to be the position of these cars, and either way, that 91 car has to get ahead of the 52 at some point. So we'll see how that goes. You know, I think that these guys are going to have a great battle. And talking about Hutchinson in the 28, he's got a nice little gap above the line. And I think that he's just going to have a calm, relaxing day today and just not have anything go wrong, and he'll be pretty good.
With Gale now in 8th, as we keep reiterating, Gale running in 8th, Ortiz running in 12th. The gap is now 8 points between Gale and Ortiz. However, pit stops could shake things up, lap leaders could shake things up, but right now Jeffery Finguy's got a stranglehold on leading this race over Christian Vargas. But pit stops could change everything, as we've seen in many races before. So keep an eye out on the 52 and the 91 team as they head towards pit stops, which should come at about lap 40 to 45 in this race. We've still got a long way to go to get there, but right now it's Jeffery Finguy out front, Stephen Gale 8th, Nick Ortiz 12th.
Yeah, I really liking how that 52 car is looking right now. He's really quick, but now we're looking at the leader, the 92, Jeffery Finguy. You know, he's got a really fast car underneath him. He showed it on the restarts. He's showing it still. He's not had any pressure from behind from the 08 car. You know, he just can't get close enough at the moment. That's big, because these guys have to really, the people ahead of him need to not have any trouble today, because if there's any trouble with those bubble guys, Jeffery Finguy is going to be right there to snatch up that spot. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this race goes. I'm excited to see what these guys behind him can do, maybe in the pit stops. Ben McDonald is looking really good in 3rd place right now. And of course the 08 car right there as well. So, you know, it's not really a clear-cut advantage for the 92 quite yet, but definitely he's having a good time.
Christian Vargas running in 2nd. He finished in the top. He actually crashed out of the Darlington race last time out in throwback weekend, so he's got some ground to make up as well. Ben McDonald running 3rd, having a solid outing in the 12, ahead of the 3 and the 44, rounding out the top 5. The maximum number of points you can gain in each race is 42, 43 actually, if you win, lead the most laps, and set the fastest lap at a race. That's only happened one time in series history, when Jake McMillan won at Watkins Glen. However, it's very well possible Jeffery Finguy could do it here, because he's currently leading the most laps. He's on pace to get the fastest lap of the race soon, and he's got a handy lead over Christian Vargas, because Vargas can't seem to get close enough to make a move on him, as the top 6 go single file.
Oh, Vargas is trying something on the outside. That, or he just missed the entry of the corner. You know, actually, he might have missed the entry of the corner, because here comes the 12 car making a move on the inside. He used the apron to try to turn the car a little bit better. Not going to happen there, but he set up the pass for this corner, forcing the 08 to the outside. It's not going to be enough, but that has stacked up everybody behind him. The 44 is now in the picture, the 26. So this race is going. There goes the 3 for the move on Ben McDonald.
That is true. Ferrari's already cemented his place in the playoffs, but he's yet to win this season. That's the last step to their season, is winning a race to get 5 bonus points heading into the playoffs. Right now, he'd start at 2,000 with no bonus points for wins. You get 5 points for each win, and Stephen Hunter in the 51 would start with 2,015 points. By virtue of his 3 wins this season, it'll still be a very tight playoff battle, as no one can get more than 4 wins this season.
Yeah, this is looking really good for a lot of these guys, to have a little bit of an advantage going in. But you know, the advantage at the end of the day, it's not going to be so much that you're safe for very long. You got to have good time in the playoffs. You got to really make sure you're getting good finishes all throughout until the championship race. So it's going to be interesting to see what these guys can do. Here we're watching the 52 again, and you know, he hasn't made a lot of progress since the last time we were watching, but he's just holding steady. He's doing exactly what he needs to do to stay above the bubble.
And with the bubble being right now at 7 points, with the 52 in 8th and the 91 in 11th, that could very well change in an instant. As this race has proven, chaos is lurking around every corner as Jack Halleck starts to close in on Stephen back, but now we move back up to Jeffery Finguy, who has led all 21 laps so far, and he will lead lap 22 comfortably over Christian Vargas. But reports from pit road, not all is well with the 92 car. Even though he's enjoying a very solid lead out front, there are whispers that he could have some issues under the hood of that car, and they may need to be addressed on pit road. Something to do with the battery system. He's already switched to his second battery on that 92 car to keep himself in the lead, but if he has to have an extended stay on pit road to fix that battery, then he can kiss his playoff chances goodbye.
Yeah, for sure. That he definitely needs to have a perfect race today to be able to have a shot of getting in, and he has to, unfortunately, hope for some bad luck for those other guys he's against. And a battery issue is not what you want to have. You know, you got to get the tires off. Even if they are able to make it to the pit stop, it's going to be a long pit stop, and he's going to lose a lot of positions. So that's not good news for the 92 car.
Well, with his second battery, he has switched over because his first one had already drained all of its power out, and this one is slowly draining as well, as we can see his telemetry going forward. His battery is slowly draining over time. Hopefully he can make it to the normal cycle of pit stops, otherwise he's going to come off early, and that will just kill his day. So hopefully he can, at the very minimum, make it to the normal round of green flag pit stops, which should come at about lap 42. And hopefully fix it there. But even if he has to change his battery out there, that would cost him at the very least 1 lap, and that would take him out of contention for a playoff spot entirely.
Yeah, it absolutely would. And as easy as it is for these cars to, or for the crews to access those positions where the batteries are, you slide them out and put them back in. That's, you know, it's not really a quick process, even though it's a fairly simple one. So really that would be some bad luck. Hopefully that, I think it's probably an alternator issue going on there. Hopefully that works itself out. We just saw the 26 make a move on the 44, and here comes the 15 as well, followed by your guy, the 52 car, fighting for a chance at the championship.
It's the battle for 7th between Maley in the 44 and Gale in the 52, with Zanstra trying to take 6th away, and it looks like Zanstra will take the spot. Gale will slip in behind him, and Gale should move up into 7th place going into turn 1, and he will. But Nick Ortiz has moved his way up into 10th, so the gap is staying the same at about 8 points. So both drivers making their way up through the field, slowly but surely trying to get their way to the front.
Yeah, that orange car is getting real big in his mirror. He wants to get away from that. But, you know, this battle up front hasn't really changed all that much since there was a little bit of craziness some laps ago with those guys in the back, you know, fighting for 3rd. But since then, it really not a lot has changed, and it's really calm up front. But you know, pit stops are coming, and it's going to be pretty crazy when pit stops happen. You know, you might get some people trying to do a short pit here. I'm not sure how much tires impact this race, but it's gonna be interesting to see what people do with their strategy with only one pit stop during the race.
Things are tense in the 92 pit. They're going over what they need to do to fix this battery if and when they need to change it. They're hoping for a yellow flag to be able to make the change there, but even then he'd fall back to at least outside the top 30, and that would just completely wipe out his shot of making the playoffs. He has to hope this battery can last him the remaining laps of this race. As Christian Vargas closes in on him to try and take the lead away, I don't think he's going to make it this time. But a souring battery has drawn Christian Vargas right to the back bumper of Jeffery Finguy, and this battle for lead has grown intense already as we approach lap 32.
Yeah, that move coming for the lead, I thought that he was going to make a move right there. The 08 it isn't, but he's filling up the mirrors of the 92 car. This is going to be exciting in the coming laps. And of course, once these guys get side by side battling for the lead, as we see the 08 go really high through the corner right there. I don't know. We'll see if he can get a run out of this corner. I don't know if it's going to happen. No, he just lost a ton of time. But once these guys if they were to get side by side, they would bring those folks right behind, right up to him. So, the 08, he must have made a mistake there. He must have been a little bit loose on entry, and he slid up the track a little bit there. Not what you want to do through the flattest corner on this racetrack.
And looking back through the field, you can see the 52 of Gale moving up into 7th place. And this is right now the battle for 10th between Nick Ortiz and Peter Onjak in the 70. Ortiz is hanging on to it for now, but Onjak has got the preferred line through 3 and 4. And this is going to grow the gap between these two up to 9 to 10 points. And this is not what Nick Ortiz needed. He really needs to get back around the 70. He needs to get around the 4 and the 44. He needs to pass a lot of cars if he wants to fight for a championship.
It's going to take some creative strategy at this point to get ahead of the 52. Then he's going to be able to use a little bit of that speed to try to pass some guys and make up some points. But for now, of course, he's still stuck behind these folks that are also stuck behind the 52.
And Gale in the 52 is actually closing in on Ethan Zanstra to take 6th away. That is not what Nick Ortiz wants to see as Gale gets to the inside of Ethan Zanstra. That's the battle for 6th going on. But Zanstra's got such a good run off the high side off of 2 that Gale has to tuck in behind and try again another day. But even still, Gale has Ortiz in his rearview mirror, too close for his liking as we approach the halfway point in this race, with the playoff contenders still in one big pack.
There's just not enough grip on the exit of turn 2 right there to get a really good run on the bottom, but yet you kind of need to be in the corner above the yellow line and able to use all of the track to go wide out to the wall to really get that run off the corner. So when you're on the inside of somebody below the yellow line, there's really not a lot you can do to keep up that momentum. You just kind of have to hope you can side draft down the straightaway.
Jack Halleck swings wide in turn 1. That's going to allow Onjak to get underneath. And Ortiz is going to lose a spot to King in the 18. That's not what Ortiz needed. He's going to fall back to 12th now. And that's going to grow the gap to 11 points between these two cars. So it'll be interesting to see which car can get the edge on pit stops, because right now, Nick Ortiz is going the wrong direction.
Here's something, though. This gaggle of cars has caught up to the 52. So if they start going by the 52 and they get him in a precarious spot, I'm sure the 52 isn't going to push the number to try to get back into line. It'll allow the 91 car to catch right up to him and then maybe have a battle for himself. He's gotten onto the preferred line now, so he might be able to get a spot here following King. King is going to make a move through the dog leg. Maybe it's not going to be enough. He didn't have enough momentum there, but he's still in the bottom of the 4 car. We'll see how that turns out, as we got to move for 3rd place. The 12 is on the bottom, but he's not going to have enough momentum. Or will he? He's kind of still side by side with the 3. He's a little bit off camera. The 3 is going to take that spot back anyway, but this is a battle for the lead right here.
Souring battery on the 92 has allowed Christian Vargas to keep pace with Jeffery Finguy. Even though Finguy has led all 39 laps so far, this is going to be a very tight battle because we're closing in on pit stops. This is when the pit window opens on lap 40. So it'll be interesting to see as we've got a couple of cars about to go a lap down here. Will they play a factor, perhaps, in the outcome of this race as the leaders are due to pit road any lap now?
For sure, they're going to play a factor. I mean, whenever you come to a track, of course, a lot of people don't. Oh, the 92 is pitting right now. He's right in front of everybody. That was a really, really dangerous maneuver right there, but everybody was able to get around him. This is interesting. He's the first one to pit road. He's dragging 3 more cars with him. Ortiz is in, and this is going to be big. We're going to see how much of an advantage these guys have by pitting early in comparison to those other guys.
Finguy did lose a ton of time on that pit entry, as we see Jacob Hammond making his series debut in place of the suspended Ricky Freeman Jr. as Christian Vargas now takes over the lead. Ben McDonald pits from second place. The 3 comes in, and everybody, aside from Christian Vargas, has pitted. Vargas is going to try to long cut on these guys to try and stretch it out as far as he possibly can and hope his fresh tires will make a difference at the end of the run.
Yeah, that's a really interesting strategy. I'm not exactly sure what kind of time difference they're going to have here on the fresh tires, but if he's able to get enough of a gap between his tires and their tires, it's going to be, well, he's pitting this time, so everything I said has just been nullified, but that's all right. We're going to see here. This is going to be really interesting to see where these guys all cycle out. And did the 92 car have a long stop to fix that battery issue? We'll see.
We will find out because Christian Vargas is pitted right behind Jeffery Finguy, and as Vargas comes into his stall, we will see. And as Vargas rounds turn 3 and 4 to come into his pit, looking for Jeffery Finguy. There he is. He's still on pit road. He pitted 2 laps ago, and he's still there. This is going to cost the 92 a shot at the championship. And as Finguy finally exits pit road with a new battery, he'll cycle out in 37th place, and his hopes for a championship have just taken an irreparable blow.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for the 92 car. Such a fast car. He led so many laps, but it's just not his day today, unfortunately. But he's still going to go out there every week and try to win races. That's what your goal is as a racer every week. So we'll see if those guys who pitted early are going to have a shot at taking the lead from the 08 car now, who should cycle out to have it. We'll find out as they come back around to the line when the leaderboard updates.
Currently it's Brandon Beal out front, but he has yet to stop in his Home Depot Dodge. Jeffery Finguy cycles out in 37th. He will not contend for victory here today, and most likely not have a chance to win a championship. The Martinsville winner will have to wait another year to contend for a championship. As we cycle back out front, Nick Ortiz has actually gotten out ahead of Stephen Gale. By at least by 5 spots. That's what he needed to make the playoffs. The gap is now 1 point in Ortiz's favor, but we still got half this race to go, and it looks like Ben McDonald has now taken the lead of this race, and this is the battle for the lead between he, J.D. Martin, and Cody Goforth in the 60, who had a stellar pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely out of nowhere, it was the 60 car, and he's making a move for second place now. He said, I'm part of this battle, whether you like it or not. We got a lap car coming up here.
That's Ryan Soper in the 84, hometown driver. Nick Ortiz has cycled himself up to 4th place, and this is a very good run for the 91. He is now ahead of the 52 by 5 spots. That's what he needed to make the playoffs. He's now ahead by 1 point.
Wide for the, it wasn't for the lead, but they were 3 wide up there. Really close to making contact. Sorry for interrupting you, but that was almost a disaster.
It was almost bad for Cody Goforth and J.D. Martin, but they managed to keep it straight for now, as Nick Ortiz holds a 1-point gap over Stephen Gale. Remember, if they were to tie, Stephen Gale would get the tiebreaker, so Nick Ortiz has to be 5 spots ahead of Stephen Gale if he wants to make the playoffs, and right now he's doing exactly that. He is 1 point to the good right now, trying to get around the lap car of Soper and to maintain 4th ahead of Christian Vargas.
Yeah, he's got a few more positions he can grab, and of course, if he gets the win, that would greatly help his chances of getting into the playoffs. But, you know, you've got that 52 car back there. He's got even more room to gain positions. So we've got a lot of racing left, and we've got a lot of time. So we'll see if that 52 car, he's probably gotten the radio transmission that says, you need some spots, buddy. And he's going to go out there and try to grab them. The 91 still has a couple as well. So it's this whole complexion of this race has changed, and that's really the fun part about pit stops in this series.
And with Nick Ortiz closing in on J.D. Martin, that's the battle for third. Christian Vargas is hanging back in fifth. Stephen Gale running in ninth, 3.1 seconds off the lead, but 2.1 seconds off Nick Ortiz if he wants to make a run at it. Stephen Gale would have to get past Jack Halleck and the 3 as well to try and make a move into the playoff position, because right now Nick Ortiz has a 1-point advantage over Stephen Gale. With Ben McDonald out front, he is your race leader, but the focus right now is on the playoff battle between Nick Ortiz and Stephen Gale, as Gale's got a challenge from Jack Porkins in the 16 back there. He wants 9 points.
Yeah, you're right about that, and I've also noticed that this 91 car has caught up to this group of 3 a little bit here. The 26 just pulled away a little bit and caught up to Cody Goforth, but you know, it's going to be interesting to see. And of course we know that 08 car is fast as well, so we're going to see if the 91 is going to be able to grab some spots, and the 26 is really wide. Let's see, this might set up a pass for the 91 going into 3. I don't know if it's going to happen, but
not this time. But he's got a very fast car under him, and he needs to have a very solid day, and he's doing exactly what he needs to do, staying ahead of Stephen Gale by about 1 point. And he's down on the flat trying to keep Christian Vargas at bay, but right now it's Ben McDonald who's out front of this race after Jeffrey Finguy dominated the early portion of this race. Finguy will lead the most laps of this race. He's led 40 of them, but unfortunately he will not make the playoffs due to a faulty battery system in his car. So now it's a battle between Nick Ortiz and Stephen Gale for the final spot. They run 4th and 9th.
Yeah, this is really going to be a good battle. The 12 car has pulled away from those guys farther than we saw the 92 of Finguy pull away from the 08 car earlier in this race. So this is looking really good for the 12, but of course there's going to be some lap traffic involved, and I wouldn't rule out a late race caution as well. You know, if you get some of these gaggles of cars piled up on each other, and there's just bound to be some bad things that'll happen with that. So, you know, this thing is not over by any means.
And as long as the 60 of Goforth and the 26 of Martin, as long as they keep battling, that's going to allow Ortiz and Vargas to close back in on them. That's going to be a 4-car battle for the 2nd position. The King in the 18, the 3 and 7th, Jack Halleck in 8th, they're all closing in as well. And don't look now, Stephen Gale is right behind the 4 of Halleck. This is going to be a very intense battle for the final playoff spot as we're closing in on 20 laps of racing to go.
You're right, and that battle for 2nd place right now is really heating up. We got 4 cars, and Nick Ortiz is going for it for 3rd place. That's just another position that he needs to be able to stay ahead of the 52. And I'm sure that they're telling that 52 car right now that he has to go. Time is running out for him to have a shot to stay in this thing. He's got to get a couple of positions here because the 91 is on the move.
And he's trying to get by J.D. Martin. He had a run on him off of 2, but Martin had the momentum up the high side, so he stays ahead for now. And Christian Vargas is right there. If Vargas would have passed Ortiz, that would put Gale and Ortiz in a dead heat for the final playoff spot, as McDonald lapped the 24 of Ace to put him a lap down in this race. But if they were to tie, as we mentioned before, Stephen Gale would get the tiebreaker due to having 2 wins in the season, while Nick Ortiz has yet to win this season. So Gale would get the tiebreaker. And look at Stephen Gale back there in the back of your shot. Vargas making a move on Ortiz. This is not what Ortiz wanted. He needs to get a position back, because now they are in a dead heat for position on points. So if Vargas gets by Ortiz, they will be tied, and Gale will get the tiebreakers. We hit 20 laps to go in this race at Phoenix.
Yeah, and I noticed that Gale was making a move on somebody back there. Well, he isn't anymore. It didn't pan out for him, but you know, the 91 is going to have to get slotted behind that 08 car and past the 60. it's not going to happen because the 60 is clear in the hole now. So oh man, this is intense because the 91, he's got to go. He's got to get this spot. He's really close to the 60 car. It almost looked like he was going to move him. He's got a hard charging 18 car and a 4 car right behind him too. This is getting intense.
18 laps to go in this race. Ortiz is on the bubble. He needs to gain positions. And King slides wide. That's going to allow Halleck to get by. And will Jack Halleck make a move on Nick Ortiz? No, he slots back in line. Slots back in line for the moment as Martin and Vargas try to get around the lap car of Ace. Goforth has fallen back a little bit, and Ortiz is going to try and get around Goforth now. That's going to be a battle for 4th place.
Yeah, absolutely. This lap car is going to slow those guys down a little bit. We'll see if the 91 can take advantage. He's going low of the 60. Can it work? They're going to be side by side off this corner.
Goforth's going to have the advantage, though, coming off the high side. So Ortiz is going to have to wait for another chance to make his move on Goforth. But as they go through 3 and 4, take lap 62, Vargas gets around Ace. Goforth's going to get around Ace. Can Nick Ortiz get around this 24 car and really put the pressure on Cody Goforth right now? This is going to be a really important battle.
No!
They almost made contact, and that could have been game, set, match for Nick Ortiz, but some very skillful driving from the 91. He holds the spot.
Yeah, that could have been really, really bad. What a crummy way to wreck with a lap car out of the race, but luckily he was able to hold on to it, and he's still going. He still needs to get some more spots. The 52, fortunately for Ortiz, is not really putting any pressure on those guys, but they're about to get held up by the 24 car, who is a lot slower than this whole field right now. And this it could allow the 52 to get some spots, and the 91, he's setting it up for turn 3.
But Goforth shuts the door on him. He's going to have to wait another day. We close in on 15 laps to go in this race. Anything can still happen, but Ben McDonald's got a very solid lead up at front. I wouldn't be surprised if this is McDonald's race to lose, but we're not paying much attention to the battle for the lead because that's pretty much in McDonald's favor. Right now, though, the battle is between Ortiz and Gale. Right now, they are tied on the playoff cut line. Ortiz needs to make something happen. He needs to take the lead of this race or set a fastest lap if he's going to hope for a playoff berth at this point, because Gale's got plenty of spots to make up ahead of him, while Ortiz has plenty of way to go to catch Cody Goforth.
Yeah, this is intense. I really think that the 4 is going to make a move right here. It's not going to pan out. The 91 really needs to not let anybody by, because that's just going to hand it to the 52. The last thing he wants is to just hand it off to him. He's got to be on the offense. He's got to take some positions here, and so does the 52. This is crazy coming in the closing laps.
13 laps to go in this race. Nick Ortiz running in 5th position. Stephen Gale running in 9th. This is going to be a very tight battle for the final spot, as Nick Ortiz currently tied with Stephen Gale's Christian Vargas makes a move on J.D. Martin. That's for 2nd place. Will he take it? Coming out of 4? No. Martin shuts the door on him.
Yeah, it just wasn't enough. We know that 08 car is really, really quick. He might be the only one of these cars that are close behind, well, as close as you can be right now when he has the lead. Here's the move for 2nd place. I was going to say that.
Oh, here's the move between Jack Halleck and Nick Ortiz. Between Jack Halleck and Nick Ortiz, that's not what the 91 needs. If he gets past right here, he'll lose the playoff spot by 1 point to Stephen Gale. And King is right behind him in the 18. We're closing in on 10 laps to go, and they're right there. Gale and Ortiz neck and neck for the final transfer spot. This is going to be huge.
That was a really, really smart driving from the 91. He was able to stay in the gas on the outside, and he was able to use that little bit of extra banking to his advantage. This is really just going to be a game of who can drive smarter in these last few laps and who can gain that one extra position. If either of them gain one position right now, it changes the outcome of if they're in the playoffs or not. So it's just going to depend. We got Cody Goforth in front of the 91. We got the 3 car in front of the 52. Those are some tough competitors. There's a move right there from the 3 car to the 18. It's not going to be enough, but will it allow the 52 to get by? They're side by side now. Oh, here we go. We're watching.
Oh, here comes Jack Porkins underneath Stephen Gale. That's not what the 52 wanted. If Porkins gets by Gale, that is going to allow Ortiz to have a little breathing room, because then he will be ahead by 1 point once again. So if Porkins gets by Gale, which it looks like he will, and it looks like Porkins might actually get 2 for 1 here, going around the 3 as well. So Gale is now out by 1 point. Coming down to the wire, we're closing in on 8 laps to go. And at this rate, who knows what could happen as the laps wind down.
Yeah, Jack Porkins really just had a sudden burst of speed going through 3 and 4 right there. That was a fantastic couple of moves. And here comes Gale on the 3 car. He's going to make it happen. He doesn't want to miss out on the playoffs because he got passed. That's not going to happen.
But the 3 is getting a good run, and it looks like he'll be able to stay up in front. He goes wide a little bit. That's going to allow Stephen Gale the momentum.
Yep.
And Gale will make the pass here. So they're back to where they were at the beginning. Wait, but the 3 is going to try and make a move again. The cross under move on the 52 of Gale. That'll put them back into a dead heat. As Halleck makes a move under Ortiz again.
91 got a good run right there. Good run.
It's not going to work, though. And as the 3 makes a move around the 52, look at Miles Mashburn in the 72 right there. The lap car of Lane Sanders is there as well. But if Mashburn gets by Gale, then that could swing the balance into Ortiz's favor once again as we approach 5 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, this thing is coming down to the wire. There's not much time left for these guys. And the 3 car is still hounding the 52 out of the corner. Is the 52 going to hold on? It looks like he's still got a shot at it. This is incredible.
Hearts pounding in the grandstands, on the racetrack, in the pits, and in the booth. We've got 5 laps to go, and it's still anyone's guess as to who makes the playoffs between Nick Ortiz and Stephen Gale. Right now, it appears they are tied at the bubble. If the 3 gets by the 52, they will be tied, and it looks like the 3 does make the pass on the 52 of Gale. So they will be tied. Stephen Gale will take tiebreaker. So Nick Ortiz needs to pass Cody Goforth, and he needs to make that pass now if he's going to have any chance of making the playoffs. 4 laps to go.
All of that battling has allowed these 3 and 4 cars to catch up to the 52. And you know, the 52 has been heating up his tires, and here comes the 4 on the 91.
Once again, a battle for the 5th position that's going to be decided in Nick Ortiz's favor. He always gets that good run off the high side. But right now, as we go to our copter cam for this shot, Nick Ortiz pulling away from Jack Halleck a little bit as we approach. We have 3 laps to go now, and Nick Ortiz looking in a good shape, but he needs to get a move on, because Stephen Gale will have the tiebreaker here. Oh man, oh man, oh man. This is coming right down to the wire. I can't even tell who's out front anymore.
Yeah, this is incredible. I don't think that the 91 is going to have enough time to catch the 60 car, so it's going to all depend on if the 52 gets passed by any more drivers. We have Miles Mashburn behind him, and we'll just have to wait and see if anything changes there. But now
right now, Ortiz is 1 point to the good. So the 91 is in the playoff position by 1 point. We're coming to the white flag this time by. Ben McDonald has a commanding lead, 2-second lead over Christian Vargas. He will most likely win this race. But the battle right now between Nick Ortiz and Stephen Gale is going to be really close coming to the line. And as they go through turns 1 and 2 for the final time, McDonald's got it in the bag. But here comes Ortiz. Halleck's gotten around to Ortiz. They're tied once again as they come off turn 2 for the final time.
Goodness. Can Ortiz get it? We have to pay attention. Ben McDonald is going to win this race. He led every lap after the pit stop. What a job by him.
Ben McDonald off the 4. He will win at Phoenix, but coming to the line, Nick Ortiz will finish in 6th place, and he takes the fastest lap. Nick Ortiz has made it by 1 point by taking the fastest lap on the final lap. He will make the One-Up Retro Cup Series playoffs by a single point over Stephen Gale. Heartbreak for the 52 bunch. They gave it everything they had, and they were in prime position to take the tiebreaker. But Nick Ortiz, with the phenomenal drive of the race to take fastest lap on the final lap, he will make it into the One-Up Retro Cup Series playoffs.
Oh my goodness. Have you ever?
No, I have never, and I doubt we'll see anything like this for a long time going forward. But there you have it. Your 12 drivers in the 1UP Retro Cup Series field are set. The 3 and 75 have made it in. Stephen Hunter is in. JD Martin is in. King in the 18 is in. Alexa Lutchen, Ryan Caggiano, Chris Maley, Bobo Jones, Kevin Carter, Justin Hutchinson, and now Nick Ortiz has locked himself into the 1UP Retro Cup Series playoffs. And we've still got 10 more races to go for these 12 to decide the championship between them.
Oh my goodness. If this was just the race to get into the playoffs, I cannot imagine what the playoffs hold for us in the next 10 races. So it's going to be so exciting. I am so excited to watch what comes next in this league that has been so exciting so far.
So from Duke Antek and from myself, the race at Phoenix is over. Ben McDonald is your winner, but a big congratulations to Nick Ortiz. He's done it. His goal has been achieved. He will race for a championship.